for today. This is another bodyweight workout. You will not need any exercise equipment whatsoever to follow along. However, you will want something soft beneath you for this workout. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. But if you're working out on a wood floor or on concrete like I am, definitely go ahead and grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat. You're going to need it for these exercises. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would prefer to skip straight ahead to the workout, you can use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to see the exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So there are 5 different exercises. We're doing each exercise for 4 minutes. This is a Tabata style workout. So 5 exercises times 4 minutes per exercise means this is going to be a 20-minute workout, but it's actually going to end up taking a few minutes longer than that because you need to account for a few seconds to transition from one exercise to the next. But we are doing each exercise for 4 minutes. My timer is set for 8 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. So the first exercise, we're going to be in a pigeon pose. All of these exercises that I'm doing today I think are new. I don't think I've ever done any of these exercises before, at least not in a workout that I've shared. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens, but we're going to start in a pigeon pose. So I don't know the best way, I don't know if there is one best way necessarily to get into your pigeon pose, but I'm going to recommend probably this is the most accessible for everyone. If you start down here in this tabletop position, so my hands are directly underneath my shoulders and my knees are directly underneath my hips. And then I'm going to pick up one knee and I'm going to bring it forward. And I'm going to extend this back leg behind me so that my back leg is extended straight and resting the top of my leg and the top of my foot are resting on the mat. Well, I guess the top of my foot is resting on the concrete, but you know what I mean. And then this front knee, it is easier to have a more acute bend in this knee, meaning that your front foot is closer to your hip flexor on the other side. If you want to increase the difficulty, you can work towards a 90-degree angle in this front knee so that your foot is farther away from your hip flexor. Just make sure that in order to get here, you're not shifting your weight this way. You want your hips to be square with this wall, okay? If as you move this foot forward to get that 90-degree angle, you're finding that your hips are opening up this way, then don't do that. Keep your hips right in line with the wall so that you're square. Does that make sense? So that my hips are not turning towards you and I'm not leaning back into this booty cheek of this leg that's bent. I want the top of this leg pressed into the mat and I want my hips to stay facing perfectly forward. So I'm going to recommend that you start with more of an acute angle in this front leg, but definitely play with it. Maybe with each passing interval, you might find your hip flexor opening up a little more and you can start to inch that foot forward. That's totally fine. I also think it's going to be a bit more comfortable to have your foot closer to your hip flexors because from here we're going to be doing push-ups. So you're going to be bringing your torso down. So you may be flexible enough to have your foot more far forward, but then that may be more of a challenge to lower your torso. So again, just start here and then you can inch the foot forward if you find that you're able to do this with ease. Just please work to your own level. I look so silly in this hat. I feel like you can't see my face, but it's chilly out here, you guys. And this is the only hat that I can wear with my ponytail, and it also keeps my ears warm. So anyway, what was I saying? I was talking about pigeon pose. All right, so I forget where I left off, but anyway, so you're gonna come down into your pigeon pose and you're going to have your hands flat on the mat in front of you and keep your, keep an external rotation going. So what I mean by that is kind of squeeze your elbows into your rib cage, okay? So if you splay your hands out like this. See how my elbows are pointing out to the sides? Instead, you want your fingers facing forward, and then you want to externally rotate your shoulders. Think of trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you and really tuck your elbows in tight to your rib cage. So obviously this is a hip opener, but we're also working our core and we are working our triceps. The more you can squeeze your elbows into your rib cage, you're going to target your triceps on this little push-up. So tighten up your abs. Make sure your abs stay nice and engaged for this entire movement. And now you're just going to do a push-up from this position. So keeping your elbows pressed into your rib cage, you're going to bend your elbows and lower your torso down as close as you can. So the goal is to really get so that your torso is lying flat on your leg and even pressing into the top of your leg. But work to your own level. If your range of motion only allows you to come here, that's fine, okay? Again, you might find that you start here, but then as we make our way through this 4-minute segment where we're working on just this pigeon pose, you might find that slowly you're able to get a little bit farther down. You might see your range of motion increase a little bit. Okay, so just work to your own level. Do not push your body into doing something it is not ready to do. But that's the exercise, okay? So you're just lowering your torso, then pressing your palms into the mat to push yourself back up to your starting position with this nice elongated spine. Your back is staying flat. Don't round your back. All right, you want a nice flat back the whole time, really elongating that spine. Tighten up your abs. Tuck the shoulders into your rib cage, activating those triceps, and now push the ground away, push yourself back up. Explore your full range of motion. Feel that stretch in your hip flexor, feel it in the glutes, this leg that's bent, and just make sure you're working to your own level. But that's the first exercise. So again, we're on 10-second rest intervals, 20-second work intervals times 8 rounds. That's our 4 minutes. Now, typically, when I do an exercise that we need to do on both sides, I would alternate sides with each work interval. But for this particular exercise, I am going to stay on the same leg for the first 4 intervals. And then I'll switch legs for the final 4 intervals. If you would prefer, you can switch legs with each interval. That's absolutely fine, as long as you end up doing a total of 4 intervals on each side. I don't care how you do it, but I'm going to stay on the same side for the first 4 intervals, and then with the next 4 intervals, I'll switch sides. So come back to your tabletop position and now bring the opposite foot forward, bending that knee, extend the other leg behind you, so you'll have 10 seconds to make this transition. Find that pigeon pose, hands on the mat in front of you, and then as soon as the timer beeps, you're gonna start with your push-ups. Okay, so the reason for that is just because this is going to be a hip opener, and rather than switching back and forth, I'd rather spend a full 2 minutes in the pose on each side so that I give my hips time to open up and I give my body time to kind of sink into that stretch, as opposed to just going back and forth. So whatever works for you is fine, but that is the first exercise, pigeon pose push-ups. The next exercise is a little bit tricky, so I'm going to do my best to talk you through it so that it makes sense, but if it's too tricky, please don't bail. I'm going to offer you a simpler, a way to modify it to make it simpler, where it's still gonna be a great exercise, but it's just gonna simplify the movement. I don't think this is an especially difficult exercise. I just think that it can be a little bit tricky to kind of nail down the kind of choreography of it. So do your best. I'm gonna do my best to talk you through it now. So in essence, this is a squat variation. So with your squats, you wanna make sure your shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, tighten up your abs. You wanna push your booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. Remember to keep your chest lifted high so that as you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, at the same time you're trying to touch this wall in front of you with your chest. And from this position, you can sink down into your squat, okay? So your back is flat, the weight is in your heels. Make sure your knees are not going over your toes. Your weight should be in your heels. You should actually be able to pick up your toes. And then go ahead and sink down into your squat. Press your heels into the ground to stand. So visualize trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. That's going to help you keep your shoulders back and down, away from your ears. It's also going to help you keep your chest lifted nice and high. Keep your chest lifted high. Tighten up those abs like someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for that impact. Now push your booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. Nice elongated spine, back is flat, weight is in the heels. Sink down into your squat. Sink low if you can. If you're able to get your booty down below your knees, great. Go ahead and do it. If you can't do that without rounding your back or without straining yourself, then that's fine. Do your best to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. All right, again, you should be working to your own level, so don't push your body into doing something that it is not ready to do. But then when you're ready to come up, you press your heels into the ground to stand. All right, that's just a basic air squat. So we're going to be combining a squat with, I guess, like a reverse bridge or like a crab kind of pose. I don't know. I'm gonna call this like bridge to crab or something. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. But basically, so, okay, you're gonna start in the middle of your mat and you're going to sink down into your squat. Now, I'm going to make like a semicircle. And I'm going to be traveling in a clockwise direction for my semicircle. So the outside hand, this would be my outside hand because I'm going to be traveling this way. All right, so whatever direction you're going to be traveling towards, you're going to take your outside hand and put it down on the ground. Then you're going to take the foot that's on the same side, pick up that foot, and you're going to bring it to the front. You're going to step this way and put your hand down behind you so that now you have rotated 90 degrees. So I started looking at this wall. I came down into my squat. I put my hand down. I picked up the foot on the same side and I stepped the foot forward. I'm bringing this hand behind me so that now I'm in this like reverse bridge position or like a crab type of position facing you. Now I'm going to continue traveling in this direction. So I'm going to pick up my outside hand and I'm going to pick up the opposite foot and I'm going to continue rotating in this direction until I am in a squat facing the opposite way from what I started with. And then I'm going to press my heels into the mat to stand. Maybe my mat would be better this way. This probably makes more sense. All right. So then that's it. We're just going to keep going in a semicircle. So you're going to reverse the position. So I'm not going to just keep going in a circle because that would mean I'm going in the same direction with each rep. So with my next rep, I want to reverse that and travel in a counterclockwise direction. So from here, I'm going to come down into my squat. So now I'm going to be traveling this way. That means this is my outside hand. So the outside hand comes down onto the ground. I'm going to pick up the same foot, my outside foot, and step it forward so that my feet are parallel. I'm going to bring this hand behind me and place it on the ground so that I have shifted 90 degrees. I was facing this wall, now I'm facing you, all right? And now I'm going to continue in that direction. So again, I'm picking up my outside hand and I'm picking up this foot. This hand comes over and I'm going to end up in a squat position facing this wall. Press the heels into the ground to stand. So we're just gonna keep going this way, then this way. Clockwise, then counterclockwise. If you're not down here doing this with me as I'm talking you through it. I'm gonna very strongly recommend that you do that so that you get it in your body. And then you'll know also if you feel like you're not gonna be able to get it in your body, you'll need to do the modification. But let's put a couple of reps together a little bit faster so that you can start to understand the flow of the movement. So tuck the shoulder blades into the back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. Push your booty back, back is flat. Weight is in the heels as you sink down to your squat. Put this outside hand down. Pick up the foot that's on the same side. Step your foot forward. Now pick up this outside hand. Pick up the opposite foot. Rotate into your squat position and stand. Start towards the middle of my mat, I guess. I'm still figuring out where I need to be like standing, the best place to stand on my mat. I think I'm gonna stand right in the middle. All right, now the other direction. So squat, outside hand goes down, outside foot steps to the front. Put your other hand down so you're in a crab pose. Now pick up the outside hand, pick up your inside foot, rotate into a squat, and stand. Squat, outside hand goes down, crab, squat, and stand. Squat, crab, squat, and stand. Okay, so you're traveling from here to here to here, and then you're going back the other way. Squat, crab pose, squat. It requires coordination. So hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully you'll be able to do the exercise the way I'm doing it, because it's a great exercise, and once you get the hang of it, it's kind of fun. But if it's too difficult, if you're struggling trying to figure out where everything goes, that's fine. Here's what you can do instead. Start towards one end of your mat. You can squat. Now put your both hands behind you so that you're in this crab pose, and you can walk. Do this crab walk towards the front of your mat. And then you can bring your weight forward and stand. Now travel towards the back of your mat. Squat, put your hands down behind you so that you're in this crab position, and walk. So just like you would walk normally, you're gonna pick up one hand, pick up the opposite foot, step them both back. Pick up the other hand, opposite foot, step them back. Until you're back at the other end of your mat. Shift your weight forward and stand, okay? So squat, put the hands down, walk, squat, and stand. Squat, hands down, walk it back, and stand. If you want to eliminate the squat, since the work intervals are so short, you can just do those crab walks. That would be absolutely fine. And this would actually be super challenging, it would be a great exercise. But you can just walk forward, walk it back. Walk forward, walk back. All right, that is a great exercise. So with or without the squat, that would be an alternative to what I'm going to be doing. So whichever one's gonna work better for you, but this is what I'm doing. Squat, crab, squat, and stand. Other direction. Squat, crab, squat, and stand. All right, but that is the second exercise. For the next exercise, we're going to be down here in a side elbow plank position. So come down onto your mat, place your bottom forearm on the mat, extend this bottom leg, and now press your heel into the mat to lift your hips. Make sure you're lifting your hips as high as you can and really tighten your abs. So now what we're going to do is take this top leg and swing it forward, and then we're going to swing it behind. okay? So as you swing the leg behind you, really tighten your glutes. But it's going to look like this. That's the whole exercise. We're just gonna swing the leg. So kick forward and behind. If it is easier, you can tap the foot down like this. You can tap the foot in front of you, lift it up and tap it on the ground behind you. Lift and tap, lift and tap. So you're making like a little arc over your bottom leg. That's absolutely fine. There are a lot of ways to modify this. Anything where you're in a side plank is fine, okay? The point is that you just want to be up here in a side plank. So you can just hold your side plank, that's fine. You can stack your feet like that, or you can have the top foot in front for a little bit more support. You can do knee tucks. You can do beach scissors. All right, so really anything you want to do with your legs is fine. The point is just that we're in an elbow side plank. So I'm going to be kind of swinging my leg front to back, front to back. Now I'm going to be switching sides with each interval so that I give my one shoulder a chance to rest in between, more than just a 10-second rest interval. But you can absolutely do the same thing that I'm going to be doing with the pigeon push-ups. You can stay on one side for the first 4 intervals and then switch sides for the final 4 intervals. That's absolutely fine, whatever works for you. But for this one, I'm going to be very quickly switching sides with each work interval. So with my 10-second rest interval, I'll swing around to the other side, place this forearm on the mat, extend this bottom leg straight, then lift my hips and kick this this top leg out in front and then behind. You can have your hand on your hip, that's fine. If it helps you to swing your arm at the same time so that you can use your arm as kind of a counterbalance, that's fine. All right, again, I don't really care so much what you're doing with your leg or what you're doing with your free arm. The point is just that elbow side plank, okay? So we're working our shoulder and we're working our core and our abs with that one. The next exercise is going to be kind of a crunch plus a leg extension. So it's gonna be super tough if your hamstrings are tight. So again, just use caution, use your common sense, be safe, listen to your body, okay? Don't push your body into doing the movement. Don't, if you're not there yet, okay? Don't push your body into doing something it's not ready to do. But this is what this one's going to look like. So you're going to start down here on your mat with your hands down to the side. You're going to extend your legs straight in front of you and then crunch them in. Now from here, you're going to put, your knees are still bent, you're going to put your heels down on the mat, and you're going to press your hands into the mat, or into the ground, and lift your hips, and then see if you can straighten your legs, bringing your hips behind you. Then bring your booty back through and put it down, right into the next rep. Extend the legs, crunch, heels go down. Now press your palms into the mat, lift the booty, straighten the legs. Bend the knees, put the booty down. Straighten the legs, crunch, leg extension. So legs straight, knees bent. Legs straight, knees bent. If straightening your legs and sliding your booty back is too difficult, then you can just come up into like a reverse bridge position, that's fine. So you can straighten the legs, crunch the knees, put the heels down, and just press the heels into the mat, press your hands into the mat and lift your hips high, and then put your booty back down. Stretch, crunch, bridge. Stretch, crunch, bridge. All right, that is absolutely fine if you lack flexibility in your hamstrings and you don't feel ready to do the movement the way I'm going to be doing it. If you feel like you might pull something, or if it's just going to be awkward or uncomfortable for you, I don't want anyone getting hurt. So that's another option. All right, so you can either just lift the hips straight up, or you can lift the hips and slide your booty back, then slide it forward and put it down. All right, whatever's gonna work for you, but that is the fourth exercise, just one left. All right, this fifth and final exercise is also gonna be super tough, so just do your best. I will be providing a modification or two to make it a bit easier, okay? So we're going to start in a plank position, so hands are directly underneath my shoulders. To start, if you want to start in this tabletop position with me to find your plank, that's fine. So hands are directly underneath the shoulders, knees are right underneath the hips. And this is helpful because we're going to be kind of coming into this bear plank position. So if you want to first understand your bear plank position, you want to start in this tabletop position with me. So again, hands are directly underneath the shoulders, knees are right underneath your hips. And now you're going to curl your toes under, pressing the balls of your feet into the mat, and then lifting your knees up just a couple of inches off the mat, okay? So that's your bear plank, all right? So again, tabletop, curl the toes under, lift the knees just a couple of inches, all right? So we're going to be starting from a high plank position. So from your tabletop position, what you're going to do is come up and step your feet back. And make sure in this plank position that you're not sinking into your shoulders. You want a nice high plank position. Actively press the ground away from you so that your shoulders are away from your ears. Make sure you're not letting your back arch. You want your back flat, so tighten up your abs. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. Now from here, you're going to step into a bear plank, but just one foot. So it's as though you're going to step into this bear plank, but you're just going to step one foot in. Then you're going to take the other knee, bring it around the side of this arm that's on the same side, and you're going to reach around that arm and grab the knee if you can, okay? So bend the knee, bring it around to the side. Now pick up the opposite hand and tap the knee. Then return to your starting position. I'm going to be alternating sides with each rep. So now with my next rep, it's finally starting to be not so frigid out here. I can take off this stupid hat. All right, so with my next rep, I'm starting up here in my plank position. I'm gonna step this foot forward. I'm going to bring the other knee to the outside of this arm on the same side, and I'm going to pick up my hand, tap the knee, and then back into my plank position. Step one foot in, bring the other knee forward, tap the knee, back to plank. Other side, step the foot in, bring the knee forward, tap the knee, back to plank. It's a lot harder than it looks. It requires coordination. It also requires a lot of balance, which means a lot of core strength. And it requires flexibility. It requires a decent range of motion to be able to reach your arm all the way around the outside of the other arm to tap the outside of your knee. So you might find it easier, instead of reaching your arm all the way around, if you reach your arm on the inside. If you reach your hand on the inside of this other arm and tap the knee that way. So stepping one foot in, tuck the other knee in, and just tap it like that. Other side. Step one foot in, tuck the other knee in, and tap it by bringing your hand to the inside of your other arm. Okay, does that make sense? So as opposed to coming all the way around and tapping the outside of the knee, you're just gonna tap the knee this way without going over and around your other arm. It's still a great exercise. It's still great core work. It still requires a lot of balance and strength, but it's just a bit easier. So that's one possibility, okay? So step the foot in, bring the knee in and tap the knee. Other side. All right, so whichever one of those is going to work best for you, but that's it, that's our fifth and final exercise. So again, here's the format. My timer is set for 8 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. That's 4 minutes. We are going to spend 4 minutes on each exercise before moving on to the next one. So that's 20 minutes. The goal is for this to feel like one continuous 20-minute workout, as opposed to 5 little mini 4-minute workouts. So you want to challenge yourself to move as quickly as you can from one exercise to the next. So take as much time as you need. You should only move on to the next exercise when you feel that you are well rested enough, when you feel that you have enough strength and enough stamina to tackle the next exercise with good form. You never want to sacrifice your form for speed. So yes, you want to move quickly between the exercises. Challenge yourself to keep the rest breaks as short as you can, but take as long of a rest break as you need. So if I'm moving on to the next exercise and you don't feel ready yet, just pause the video and come back when you feel that you're ready to continue with good form. But make sure, please, that you're working to your own level. Make sure that you're going at your own pace, and make sure you're minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. Remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video. So make sure you read the instructions, and I'm going to do the entire workout with you. I'm sharing every single rep from start to finish. So watch me do it, read the instructions. But then, of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format, if you have questions about the exercises that we're doing today, I know these are new exercises. I'm here to field questions. If you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need help with beginner modifications, please just ask. It is really important that you understand the movement and that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury and just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And it is also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I'm always here to help facilitate that, so don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. Hopefully I've covered everything. If you're ready to go ahead and do this workout with me, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat. Take a minute to make sure you're good and warmed up, and when you're ready, let's get started. All right, so as soon as you're ready, here we go. My timer is set for 8 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. We're starting with pigeon push-ups. So you're going to come down onto your mat, start in your tabletop position, and now you're going to pick up one knee, bring the knee in front of you, extend your back leg so that this bottom leg is lying flat on the mat. Make sure your hips are square. Put your hands down to the side, and we're going to do push-ups. So I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is a 10-second rest interval just to get ready. Make sure that you are externally rotating so that you're pressing your elbows into your rib cage, working those triceps as you lower yourself down into your push-up, and then push yourself back up. Explore your full range of motion, but don't push your body into doing something it's not ready to do. We're going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here. You can switch sides with each work interval if you want, but I want to stay on the same side for the first 4 work intervals, just so that I can give my hips time to open up while I'm in this position. So that was our second work interval. We have 2 more work intervals to go on this side, and then we'll switch sides. One more work interval, that was our third one. So one more on this side and then we'll switch sides. So make sure you're keeping your abs nice and tight. Make sure you're thinking about elongating that spine. Explore your full range of motion. Try not to let your elbows splay out to the side like this. Try to keep those elbows tucked in tight to your rib cage. All right, so now we have 10 seconds to switch sides. So bringing the opposite foot forward, extending that leg behind you. Make sure your hips are square. So this side might feel quite a bit tighter for a couple of reasons. For me, it's always my inclination to start with my better side. So it may just be that you started on your better side, and so this side that you're on now would have felt tighter and it would have felt more challenging regardless. But also we spent a full 2 minutes letting our hip flexor open up on the first side. So now switching sides. You need to give your opposite hip flexor a few seconds to open up. So you might find that now that we've been doing it for a couple of minutes, or a minute and a half almost, that you're able to sink a little bit deeper into the pose, feel a little bit looser. All right, this is our final work interval, so tuck those shoulders, tuck your elbows into the shoulder blades, and push. All right, nice, that's our first 4 minutes. So now we're going to quickly get into our next exercise, which is our squat and crab pose variation, whatever variation you're doing. So right away, I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is our 10-second rest interval, just so that we have a few seconds to get ready. You're gonna start facing this wall, shoulders back and down, chest is high, push the booty back, sink into that squat, put the outside hand down. So you're always putting this outside hand down, stepping forward into your crab pose. And you're traveling clockwise, counterclockwise, reversing direction with each rep. So squat, put the hand down, step the foot forward into your crab pose, back into a squat, and stand. Other side, squat, crab pose, squat, and stand. Rest for 10. Squat, step the foot forward into your crab pose, squat facing the other direction, and stand. Hand goes down, crab pose, stand. Squat, crab, squat, stand. Remember, if that's too difficult, you can just do your crab walks. My socks are sticky on the bottom. kind of you kind of have to be able to like pivot on your toes for this one. My sock got like stuck. I kind of stumbled. That's okay. I know this is a tough one. Just do your best. Like I said, I don't think the exercise itself is super challenging, like physically, but I think it's hard to find the rhythm of it. All right, one more time. All right, as quickly as you can, we're gonna move on to our elbow plank exercise. This one's super tough, so if you need to rest for a minute or two before we get into it, that's fine. Just pause the video and come back when you're ready. I'm gonna go ahead and start my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is 10 seconds to get ready. So, forearm on the mat, bottom leg is extended. Come into your side plank and kick forward and back. Swing the leg forward, kick it back. Squeeze those glutes when you swing that leg behind you. All right, quickly, switching positions. So elbow plank on the other side, extend this bottom leg straight, lift the hips, and swing the leg forward and back. My foot slid right off my mat. It takes a ton of core strength. Just do your best. So lift the hips and swing that top leg to the front and to the back. Squeezing those glutes as you swing the leg behind you. Other side. Make sure you're keeping those hips lifted nice and high. Sock on this side must be especially slippery. Other side. Lift the hips, swing the leg. I know this one's tough. Hang in there with me, just once more on each side. It's getting harder and harder to keep those hips lifted super high. Just keep fighting for it. This is our final work interval. Really push. All right, nice job. That's a tough one. The toughest, in my opinion, is still yet to come. I find that final exercise to be the hardest one out of all of these. But this next one is pretty difficult as well. This is our crunch. You're gonna crunch, and then you can either lift the hips and come up into a bridge pose, or you can lift the hips and slide the booty behind you, straightening the legs, stretching those hamstrings. Whatever works for you. Starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is 10 seconds to get ready. So lift the feet off the mat, crunch, lift the hips, and slide the booty behind you. Crunch and stretch. Rest for 10. And here we go again, lift the feet. Crunch, stretch. Focus on lifting your booty up as high as you can as you do that stretch. You're halfway there. Just 4 more intervals to go. Do your best. tough. We're feeling it. We have just 2 intervals left. Let's push. All right, that was our 4th exercise of 5. I'm gonna get right into the final exercise, but I feel like I need just a few seconds because this final exercise I think is the most difficult one. It requires a ton of focus because it requires so much balancing. So that's more than just core strength, that's focus. And as you get fatigued, it's easy to lose that focus. So I'm definitely fatigued after the first 4 exercises. Giving myself just a minute or so to breathe. I don't want to wait too long though, because like I said, I want to challenge myself to keep the rest breaks as short as possible so that this feels like 1 20-minute workout and not 5 4-minute workouts. So if you need to rest longer, pause the video, come back when you're ready. Starting in our tabletop position, and then we're going to come to a plank, and then we're going to do that bear plank step in, plus reach around and tap the knee. So I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. So from your tabletop position, you're going to step the feet back so that you're in a plank position. And now you're going to step 1 foot forward, bring the opposite knee around, and tap the knee with your other hand. Other side, step the other foot in, tuck the knee, reach around, and tap it with the opposite hand. Step the foot in, tap the knee. It's super tough, I know. Just do your best. 3, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1. We're halfway there. Just 4 more intervals left. 3, 2, 1, go. Step the foot in, tap the outside of the knee. Step, bend the knee, and tap. Rest for 10. Starting back up again, step it in, bend the knee and tap. Other side, step the foot in, bend the knee, reach around that arm, and tap the knee from the outside with your opposite hand. We have less than 1 minute to go. 3, 2, 1, go. Step it in, bend the knee and tap. Other side. All right, we made it. This is our final work interval. 10 seconds to rest, and now 3, 2, 1. Come up into your high plank, step it forward, reach around and tap the knee. Timer's about to beep. There's our 20 minutes. Time is up. You can stop if you want. I just want to do a few more reps because this exercise is super tough. I'm just going to keep going until the beeping stops. There we go. I just wanted to do a few extra reps because that exercise is super tough, and there were a few reps that weren't very clean where I wobbled or I tapped my foot down to check my balance. So because I had been stumbling quite a bit on that exercise, I just wanted to put together a few more clean reps right at the end there. But you guys, that's it. That's our 20 minutes. That was actually a really tough 20 minutes for me anyway. I think in large part because those exercises were new to me for the most part. Certainly putting things together in the way that I put them together today was new for me. So it takes some time to kind of get it in my body. It takes some time for my brain to parse it out, and then it takes time for my body to figure out exactly what my brain is asking it to do. But I feel like once I started to get the hang of them, everything started making more sense. And I really enjoy these exercises. So don't be surprised if you see these exercises again at some point in the future. But I hope you enjoyed these exercises as well. Let me know if they were new to you and let me know how you did with them for sure. Let me know if there were any in particular that you loved and you would like to see again, because I will be happy to incorporate any or all of these exercises into future workouts if you guys like it and you want to see more of it. So we are almost finished. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So when you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete, but it is Monday, so that means that it is time for another Monday McFlurry Mobility Challenge. I found another mobility challenge on Instagram. I'm going to attempt it right now, and if I am able to successfully complete this mobility challenge, everybody wins a free McFlurry. All right, so I am watching the reel on Instagram right now. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at so that you can see what the challenge looks like, and then you can try it with me if you want. All right, so she's basically going from this squatting position into a boat pose, holding the boat pose for a second, bending the knees, shifting her weight back, forward again into the squat, then lifting the heels, tapping the knees down. Now reverse the movement. So notice, okay, so boat pose, straighten the legs. Now throw the weight forward. Notice how she's on her heels, then she lifts the heels, taps the knees, shifts her weight back, but her heels are still off of the mat, and then she puts her heels down. So I'm assuming that's part of the challenge, to kind of pause for it. Let's watch it again. Okay, so booty goes down, straighten the legs, boat pose. Now bend the knees, feet flat on the mat, shift the weight forward, heels are down. Now lift the heels, hold, tap the knees down and hold. Lift the knees and hold. See, she's spending just a second in that squat position with her heels elevated. See, she pauses just for a second before tapping the knees, lifts the knees and pause, just a second before putting the heels down. Then put the booty down, straighten the legs, hold your boat pose, come back forward again into your squat. All right, so there's actually, that's like the first part. If you swipe, there's a part 2. So let's look at that because it's a completely different movement, but I'm going to be combining both of these. So let's watch part 2 together as well. So she's standing, she has her arms extended out in front of her. She's doing a squat, sinking deep down into that squat. See, she's getting her booty all the way down below her knees, then putting her hands down, straightening the legs and going into this forward fold. So I don't know if this is meant to be a separate mobility challenge or a warm-up for the other mobility challenge, but now you can see that she's kind of combining it with the first movement. So she's starting from a standing position, sinking down into the squat, her arms are extended out in front of her, and then she is, let's see, now she's never lifting her heels off the mat. See, this one, it's kind of different, but I'm gonna end up combining both of those. So I'm gonna take this second movement and I'm going to do the squat and then straighten the legs, do the forward fold, and then I'm going to stand again, and then I'm gonna squat again and go into the that little sequence where she put her knees down and then did the squat and then the boat pose and everything. Okay, so I'm gonna just be kind of combining those, but now you see what I'm looking at, so hopefully you get an idea of what it's going to look like. I will obviously walk you through what I'm doing as we're going, but if you would like to try this mobility challenge with me, go ahead and grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat, and let's give it a shot and see what happens. All right, so I'm actually going to start standing on my mat. I'm going to start standing towards the front of my mat. And she had her arms extended out in front of her for this first part of the movement. So I'm going to extend my arms in front of me, and now I'm going to sink down into my squat. So tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Make sure your shoulders are back and down, away from your ears. Make sure your chest is lifted nice and high. Tighten up your abs. Push your booty back. Make sure you keep your back flat and keep the weight in your heels as you sink down into this squat. Sink all the way down as deep as you can into the squat. See if you can get your booty all the way down below your knees so it's almost touching the mat. And now I'm going to put my hands down on the mat next to my feet and straighten the legs as much as you can. Now I'm going to come back down into my squat. And keeping my back flat, I'm going to press my heels into the mat to stand. And I'm going to keep my arms extended out in front of me. Now we're going to repeat the squat. So sink down into the squat. And now from here, I'm going to shift my weight forward. Well, first, oh no, that's right. I think that making each little movement, it's like kind of separating it out is part of the challenge. It looked like that was part of the challenge. So I'm not just gonna come forward and tap my knees down. I'm gonna first lift my heels, come up onto my toes, and find my balance here for just a second. So we're separating each movement, and then I'm gonna tap my knees down. Now I'm gonna lift my knees and come back up onto my balls of my feet, keeping my heels elevated. Pause here for a second. Make this its own distinctive pose, and then lower the heels. Then I'm going to shift my weight back, put my booty down on the mat, and extend the legs straight up. And I'm gonna hold this boat pose for a second. Now I'm gonna bend my knees and put my feet flat on the mat again. Shift my weight forward. And I'm gonna hold this deep squat position for a second. And then I'm gonna repeat that again. So I'm gonna come back up onto my toes, lift the heels and hold. Tap the knees down and hold. Lift the knees onto the balls of your feet, hold. Lower the heels, hold. Booty down, extend the legs, straight and hold your boat pose. Now bend the knees, put the feet flat on the mat, come forward into your squat. And then how do I want to end it? I think I've completed the challenge, so you can either lift your heels and end it here. That's what she did. Or I think from here, maybe what we should do is do another one of these. Hands down, straighten the legs. Just to kind of bring it all together and stand. All right, so that's gonna be my little mobility challenge. So I think I successfully completed the challenge, and I think that means that we all get to eat free McFlurries for lunch. But that was kind of slow. So you know that when we do our Monday McFlurry mobility challenges, we always do it 3 times. So that if you didn't get it on the first attempt, you still have 2 more chances to get it. And if you did get it on the first attempt, you have 2 chances to kind of clean it up and see if you can make the movement flow a little better. So if you didn't get it, don't worry, because I got it. So that means you get to eat free ice cream, but if you want to get it and you haven't gotten it yet, let's go ahead and try it again. All right, so roll those shoulders back and down. Extend your arms out in front of you. You're gonna sink down into your squat. Now place your hands on the mat next to your feet. Straighten the legs, forward fold. Bend your knees, come back down into your squat. Extend the arms out in front of you, press your heels into the mat to stand. Now come back down into your squat, and now you're going to lift your heels. Find your balance here on your balls of your feet for just a second. Now you're gonna lean forward and tap your knees down on the mat and hold. Now we're gonna reverse that, so pick up your knees and come back up into your squat position on the balls of your feet. Don't put your heels down quite yet. Now lower those heels with control, and now you're going to shift your weight back, put your booty down on the mat, extend your legs straight, and hold here in your boat pose for a second. Now bend the knees. You're going to put your feet flat on the mat again, shift your weight forward, and come back into your squat position. And now again, you're going to lift your heels, come up onto the balls of your feet, find your balance here. Before you shift your weight forward, tap the knees down. Lift the knees, come back onto the balls of your feet, and now put your heels down, hands flat on the mat, straighten the legs, come into your forward fold, bend the knees, return to your squat position, extend the arms out in front of you, and press your heels into the mat to stand. So if you haven't gotten it yet, don't worry, you get 1 final attempt. So let's go ahead, when you're ready, shake it out first. Take a couple of seconds to breathe. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and try it just 1 more time. If you have gotten it, let's work on getting the movement to flow a little better and kind of cleaning it up, all right? So when you're ready, here we go. You're gonna roll your shoulders back and down. Extend your arms out in front of you. Squat, hands down, straighten the legs for a forward fold. Bend the legs back down into your squat, extend the arms in front of you and stand. Now squat, lift the heels and hold. Tap the knees down, lift the knees, hold. Now put the heels down, put the booty down, straighten the legs, boat pose. Now bend the knees, put the feet flat on the mat, shift your weight forward, come back into your squat position, lift the heels, and hold. Tap the knees down, lift the knees, hold, place the heels down. Now hands down, straighten the legs for your forward fold, bend the knees, come back down into your squat, extend the arms in front of you again, and stand. And that's it. You guys, we did it. Free McFlurries all around. Another successful Monday McFlurry mobility challenge in the books. Enjoy your free ice cream on me. If you did this mobility challenge with me today, let me know if you were successful. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear with the format and how it all fits together, if you have questions about the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need help with beginner modifications, please just ask. That is going to do it for today. But before I say goodbye, I have to say one final thank you to those of you who have been watching the videos all the way until the end and commenting with the secret code phrase of the day. So before I say goodbye, I will give you today's secret code phrase of the day. It is: the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. So if you are still watching this video, hello, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please let me know that someone is still watching by going down to the comment section and leaving me a comment that says the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. That is going to do it for today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.